All right. I already knew that this was going to be a really emotional day, so bear with me, all right? And I wanted to share it with my family and with my family online here. Many of you guys have never seen me in this uniform. Sorry, guys. This uniform that I'm wearing right now is going to be the last time I ever wear it. And it feels so surreal to say that and to know that. So Dixon personally came here to hand me my DD 214, as you saw. That piece of paper closes one chapter of my life, but it starts another. It's not just paperwork, it's a symbol of everything that this uniform meant. The sacrifice, the growth, the friendships, and the lessons that shape who I am today. When people ask why I joined the military, the answer always takes me back to one day, September 11th. I was 21 years old. I was watching Americans run towards the danger instead of away from it. Watching men and women risk everything to help strangers. And something inside of me just changed. I wanted to serve. I wanted to do something that mattered. To help more at home with disasters, with emergencies, and to protect and to rebuild. At the time, for personal reasons, I wasn't able to join, but I still had that desire and it never went away. Years later, when Wes was in the Air Force, I thought that maybe being a military spouse would be enough, but deep down I felt like there was something unfinished, like a calling that hadn't been answered yet. Fast forward to when our daughter was in high school, Brooklyn. Her instructor was actually a Utah Army National Guard recruiter. I told him that thing that many people say, I was gonna serve, but, And his answer was, well, why aren't you now? And I said, well, I'm 34 years old. I'm too old for that. And he's like, well, when do you turn 35? And I'm like, in 7 months. And he's like, well, you got 7 months to decide. 2 months later, I rose my right hand. At 34 years old, I went to basic training. I turned 35 while I was there. I was probably older than all of my drill sergeants and definitely older than everybody at basic training. But I was determined to prove that I belonged there. Basic was hard, AIT was hard, but being away from my family was even harder. And then from day one, I stepped into leadership roles and learning what it meant to lift other people up and lead by example. For years, I thought about going to OCS, but fear kept me from it. People said the OCS was basic training on steroids. And I let that fear talk me out of it. Then life reminded me what courage looks like. Brooklyn, who had dreams of becoming a fighter pilot, she had a heart attack during a PT test after she joined the National Guard. I performed CPR on my own daughter, and she was life-flighted, and she eventually had open heart surgery. That ended her military career. But not her spirit. She became my inspiration. I decided if she couldn't do it, that I would do it for both of us. So at 39 years old, I went to officer candidate school. OCS was the hardest thing I've ever done. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. I've never been so cold, so exhausted, or so pushed to the limits. Sorry guys. But I learned what I could suffer through and still keep going. I turned 40 at OCS, surrounded with people that were definitely younger than me. But I kept thinking about Brooklyn. I was so worried about going to OCS because I had a fear of failure. This mentor of mine basically said, your first failure is to not even try. That line changed me. It carried me through OCS and into the rest of my military career. The Army taught me endurance, humility, and to lead with compassion. It taught me that people are capable of far more than they realize. And that courage isn't about being fearless. It's about pushing forward in spite of fear. I've had incredible experiences. From serving in Japan during Yamasakura, doing a live fire out in Morocco, graduating Field Artillery Bullet was the toughest school of my life. Each chapter challenged me, and each one made me stronger. But over time, I started to feel a shift. I was proud to serve, but I also realized that the camaraderie and the connection that I was searching for had changed. Being an older female officer can be isolating. You're caught between generations and roles. Not quite one of the young soldiers, but not one of the old guard either. And I don't say that to criticize at all. The military gave me so much. But to be honest, how my heart started to drift away to a new kind of service. That new mission became Beaman Builds. However, once a soldier, always a soldier. The truth is, this uniform will always be part of me. Every challenge, every lesson, every long night, every moment of pride is woven who I am. The military pushed me harder than I ever thought possible. It tested me and it broke me and it rebuilt me into something bigger and stronger. To my brothers and sisters in arms, you will always, forever be my family. No matter where life takes us, we'll always share that bond that only those who have worn the uniform can understand.
The military is unique in the sense that how we show love is generally sarcasm and insult.
It's true.
So anytime you get an opportunity as a leader to come out and give some actual heartfelt things about how their performance was and how they did is a good, unique opportunity. But it's also generally a sad one because it's usually on their way out because you never compliment them when they're still in. With that being said, most of you, the family, and then all of you alive, probably did not get the experience to know Captain Beaman, right? At work, she was Lieutenant Beaman, Captain Beaman, and she came home and she was mom or Debbie. To you guys, she's dead. But I have only ever really known Captain Beaman. And there's two things I generally judge a soldier's success on, or a leader's success on. One's obviously the measurables, right? Their fitness, their OERs, their performance, their products, etc. But the second is one that you can't measure, and one that people rarely see while they're in. And that is the change of the organization and the number of soldiers that they influence. And Beaman, I promise you, your absence has been felt, especially in the FDC section. I didn't know Bravo too well, but the amount of change a good leader can do in an organization is unreal, and you'll never see it because it only takes you changing one soldier who may be struggling or on the wrong path, making them better. They gain some rank, they get some soldiers under them, they influence too, and it just spirals out of control. And I can tell you, in the organization, in the section you were in specifically, I have seen a major change in growth from when you came to when you left. And I have no doubt in my mind that is from the influence that you bestowed upon them while you were in that seat. And the changes to the organizations and how we've been doing our artillery has grown from the base that you set in the model that you've sent forward. It has been built upon, and that all started.
Hey guys, we're doing a little.
So I appreciate your mentorship and leadership that you brought to the organization. I'm sad to see you go, but I'm super happy to see you be here with your family and doing what you love. And on behalf of the 145, we got you a couple of things. The first being, if you didn't know, Beaman was artillery. Okay, this is a 155 round, 2 scale, not to weight. So we have that in it. It represents her time here in the 145. And also to those who know nothing of the military, when you get out, you get a sacred paper called the DD-214. It is what proves that the military no longer owns you and has all your successes in that form. So with that, I got it framed so you can put it up in your office or wherever you want, burn it, it's up to you. So again, thank you on behalf of the 145, me personally, and all the soldiers of HHB.